Hello, my name is Lorna, and today we're going to learn how to make a polymer fried egg. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of black and I'm going to roll it into a circle shape. I'm not too concerned about the shape right now because I'm going to be cutting it out. So I'm going to roll this flat. I need it to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. This is going to act as a base for our fried egg. You could skip this part and just make the fried egg, which would also be very cute. So I'm just going to take my tool and I'm going to cut out a circle shape. This is an X-Acto blade, but you could use anything to cut this out. You could use a regular kitchen knife. My polymer that I'm working with is quite soft. It's hard to work with, to be honest. I prefer brands like Fimo and Sculpey. This is, I believe, Arteza brand. It could be another brand, so it's very soft. And my hands are quite warm right now, so it is a little bit mushy. So I've made my circle and I've rolled out just a coil, and I'm going to wrap that around and push it down, cutting off any excess. And now I'm going to join the seam. There's a few ways that you can join a seam. You can score it using a tool, which I will show you. And I'm just doing a up and down motion to score the edges together, kind of rolling it around with the end. This is called an awl, AWL, that I'm using right here. But you could use any tool that you have around the house. None of the tools that I am using today are super necessary. You can use regular kitchen tools, whatever you think. You could use a mini screwdriver. There's all sorts of things that you can use for this. Now I'm going to use the back of my fingernail, which seem to be the best tool. Sometimes our hands are the best tools. This really gave a nice smooth look. And I'm going to go all the way around to make sure it's sealed. Polymer clay will stick to itself, so this part isn't super necessary. I just know that I'm going to be looking at it. I'm going to be turning this into a fridge magnet, so I'm going to be looking at it from all sides, and I don't want the edges to look unfinished. So I'm just going to kind of pinch up the sides here, build up my pan walls, if you will. And then I'm going to make a handle. I'm going for like a rough cast iron pan look. I have a pan in my cabinet that looks very similar to this. It's seen some better days for sure. The cutting board that I'm using as a rolling mat actually left a really cool texture in it, so it actually looks like cast iron in person. I'm not sure if it reads on camera. So I'm taking that all, but again, you could use a toothpick. You could use a pen, whatever object you can make a little hole with. I'm just making a hole that looks like where you hang, or a spoon handle. I actually rest my spoon in mine, which is pretty cool. It's a little bit short right now, so I'm going to show you how to elongate that. So when I put it next to my pan, it's a little short and stubby. So I'm actually just going to gently pull down the bottom of it, just to make it a little bit longer. And then to adhere, I'm going to take my awl again, and I'm going to go around the side scoring downwards. I don't think I can get my fingernail in there, so a tool is really helpful. And again, you don't need the awl. You could use like the tip of some scissors or something. It really is forgiving. It's a forgiving material. So when I'm baking it, I'm going to put a little piece of tin foil underneath the handle so that it is propped up. You could do baking paper. It really doesn't matter as long as it is oven safe. You could also build an armature and put wire in there, but for something small like this, I feel like just propping it up on some tin foil is more than enough. All right, time for the egg. So later I realized that I have a giant piece. It's massive. I don't need that much. So I broke it in half, and then I am going to shape it into an oval shape. I still think this is just a bit too large. We'll see though. So I'm just kind of flattening it out on the edge. I'm leaving a mound in the center because when you crack an egg in a pan, it tends to be more centralized and then spread out as it fries. So I'm trying to go for a little bit of realism. All right, so that one was too big, so I'm starting over. I think this is going to be a much better size. I'm just pulling out a little bit of a tail too, so that it looks like a little bit of splatter on the eggs. So I have my mound, really thin on the edges. If you were just to do the egg, you would definitely want to make it a little bit thicker on the edges, so that when you bake it, it doesn't burn in the oven. I'm just cleaning up a little spot here. And then I'm going to push down all around, and I'm doing a little tapping motion. You could use your finger for this. I am using this tool so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Just pushing the pieces together. Again, polymer is quite sticky. So now I'm rolling some little balls to add a little bit more texture, maybe some bubbles, like your egg is bubbling in a hot frying pan. I want to get some of the action involved in here so that it's not flat. You can look around your house for things like straws or maybe like the end of a pen, like a pen cap would be really great for this. I'm actually using the little protector sleeve that came with my awl. But any tool that you can use for texture is welcome. I'm just adding some more little bubbles. So now I'm gonna move on to my egg. The egg white kind of has a color to it. Sometimes it's like kind of yellow. So I'm making a mixture of my lightest yellow and my white. And I'm just blending it together kind of in a marble effect, not super blended. And I'm just going to tap that onto my white in about an oval shape. So I'm cutting it down to size 2. And again, I'm just gonna tap that into place. This piece is not going to have the bubble texture on it because it's gonna be more centralized. This is a sunny side up egg. So I want it to look like it hasn't fully been cooked yet. So now I'm going to make the yolk, and the yolk I'm taking a mixture of my darkest yellow, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my light yellow just to the side of that so that I can get some dimension, almost like a little highlight on the side. And I'm going to keep it pretty round because when I tap it down, I don't want to cut a half circle or anything, because when I tap it down, it's going to flatten out a bit, just like a natural egg yolk would spread in the pan. And that's pretty much it. I am going to try and tap out as many of my fingerprints as possible. You can kind of rub the sides. I am going to glaze this with some clear nail polish after it's done, so I'm really not worried about that. I'm only going to put the clear nail polish on the egg so that it has some shine. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleaning up, and here you have a lovely fried egg. I'm having a difficult time getting it up off the thing, so I'm going to scrape it off, put it on the pan, and bake it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you make your own little fried egg. If you make your own, we'd love to see it. Please send us a photo.